the 5th Annual Carpenter Cup Championship game. Today, Philadelphia Catholic and Chester County. Hi again, everybody. Mike Linder along with Mark Narducci. We're here at Veterans Stadium on a Sunday afternoon, a gorgeous day for baseball. And Mark, you couldn't ask for a better day and two better teams that have made their way through this 5th Annual Carpenter Cup. Chester County, by virtue of a bye, sat and wait while Philadelphia Catholic had a tough game with South Jersey Central, but the Catholic League team emerged victoriously, but not without some problems. Looked like there for a while it was not going to be a win.
Yeah, not only that, Mike, they come in today. It couldn't have been a better day, except for one thing. They would have liked another day or two rest. Their arms are a little bit tired. The Catholic League may be a little short of pitching. Of course, their top pitcher, Dan Custers of Archbishop Wood, missed the semi. Will miss today because he's down the Old Dominion baseball camp. So they're really short on arms. Chester County, well rested. They haven't played in a week. They're going with a guy, Eric Hampton, who pitched 3 shutout innings in his only appearance in the Carpenter Cup. So arms-wise, Chester County has the advantage. Never count out the Catholic League with its grit.
You, of course, hear Mark Narducci, who is backing off a little bit, perhaps, from his pre-tournament pick. Our understanding, Mark, you felt the Catholic League entry should be the team that emerges as the champs.
Yeah, no doubt pre-tournament, Mike, I felt they would be because I thought they had so many good arms, but they've had so many people that have not either been able to come because of being at camps, being on vacations. They've missed a lot of people. Another one, Keith Conway, maybe considered the second best pitcher in the Catholic League from Carroll. He's here today. He's in the dugout. He will not play. He's had some back problems.
Hold. Mike Linder along with Mark Narducci. We're here at Veterans Stadium. Opening inning action. Philadelphia Catholic, the home team, they're in the field. And Ryan Krause on the mound. He looks first at Josh Lupacini, the third baseman for the Chester County club. Pounds one on the ground down to third base. And Ely throws it wildly. It's going to bound down into right field. John Reimel quickly up with it. We're going to have a play at second, but in safe with 2 bases is the leadoff man for Chester County, Josh Lupacini, and that is uncharacteristic play for Scotty Ely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Of course, Scott main cog for Monsignor Bonner 2 years ago when they won the Catholic League Championship, and also had another excellent season this year. It's very important that they play errorless ball and make very few mistakes because these pitchers, we don't know how long they're going to be able to stay on the mound. One thing about Krause, Mike, on most teams in the Delaware Valley, he'd be your ace, your number 1, but on a team with Custers, I guess he had to settle for number 2, but his numbers were outstanding, 7-2 this year.
Playing early with the bunt. Kilby lays it down, and it is caught by Scotty Halls and up to Bob Sadwick. We'll take a look at a replay on that first play of the ball game.
Yeah, the perfect, that was the first play, yeah, when it just got by Ely, and it got to Ely, but does a good job playing the bounce too, but just looked like he winded up.
All right, they move Lupacini over to third base on the successful sacrifice. And that will bring to the plate the number 3 hitter playing at first base today, Darren Stroh. Stroh up there aggressively swinging at the first pitch, and Krause is ahead 0-1.
And he's got a little bit of power, Mike. He hit 500 with 3 homers, 18 RBIs for Avon Grove, and with a guy on third base and really the heart of the order coming up. It's a good situation for Chester County, and we have to make mention when we talk about the lineups. They're using some of their better people late, and that's something the Catholic League also did very well yesterday. On the ground, Sadwick will get to it, but it'll be ruled foul. Krause ahead of Stroh, 0-2. Lupacini at third base. He's a one-out base runner. Good pitch outside corner, took something off of it, and Krause sees his way out of this early game problem. 2 down. Lupacini remains at third. We go to the cleanup hitter, Jason Troilo. Troilo starting today at catcher. Comes into the game, still looking for his first base hit. He's 0-4 in the tournament. Hit .405 this year for Kennett, and he's going to James Madison on a baseball scholarship this year, and has also done a good job academically too.
1-0. Lifted high to left field. This will chase Harry Carr back, and Carr reaches up and gets it, and the first inning, which started, looked like it could have been disaster early for Catholic, ends quietly enough. Let's take a look now at the defensive Alignment for Chester at first base, Darren Stroh. Playing alongside of him at second, Scotty McGraw. Starting at shortstop today, Chuck Kilby. The starting third baseman will be Josh Lupacini. And in the outfield for Chester, in left field, Chris Lengel. Starting at center today, John Delaney. And over in right field, Dennis Cassell. Starting behind home plate, Jason Troilo, and he'll be looking at the offerings of Eric Hampton. Joe McEwing, the leadoff batter for Catholic. McEwing, starting in center field, takes a look at ball one.
Of course, Joe Mike, one of the premier athletes in the Delaware Valley, averaged about 18 points a game for Egan's basketball team and really did the job as a center fielder this year, hit 420 for Egan.
And McEwing, one of those first team selections in the Daily News All-City. Looks at ball two, up and away. So McEwing out in front of pitcher Hampton. Now 3-0, let's check it.
Still hasn't committed to a college yet, but he told me before the game that as he takes ball four there that he will play baseball, not basketball in college.
And hitting Halls will be the next batter. Halls, just an outstanding catcher. Halls also from Bishop Egan and was a #1 catcher in the city according to the Daily News. Scotty steps in, hitting at a 500 clip for the tournament. And he looks at Hampton's first strike of the afternoon. So both teams get their leadoff runner on. Lupacini, who did not score in the first inning for Chester, now here in the bottom of the first. McEwing walks to start the Catholics' offensive appearance.
Mike, Hampton is not going to dazzle people with an overpowering fastball. He's got to depend on location, and he really had it in the first Carpenter Cup series.
Tries to nibble on the outside corner with the waist pitch. Halls takes it for ball one. 1-2, nobody out, one on. Misses high and away here. Good by Troilo to get up and out after that one. Count even, 2-2. Halls with runner moving, 3-2 high, but there'll be no problem here. Good job back up by McGraw as the throw from Troilo went over the head of Kilby. We'll have a full count on the batter, Halls. McEwing at second with a stolen base.
And, you know, this is what the Catholic League has done this whole Carpenter Cup tournament. We could like to compare them to the St. Louis Cardinals. Not a team with a lot of power, but they've been running the bases, getting a lot of base hits, and taking advantage of their excellent speed.
Hampton will walk the second batter in a row. Halls down at first. So McEwing at second, Halls at first with nobody out here at the bottom of the first. And shortstop Chris Masella. Steps in Masella in the midst of the couple of rallies yesterday in that victory over South Jersey Central.
Yeah, that big hit that brought in 2 runs that tied things up. And there you see his stats, Mike. But he had the big hit that tied it up 9-9, and of course sent the game into extra innings. Just did an excellent job for Joe Parisi's team. Another great year for LaSalle, Mike, making it to the Northern Division Finals where they played Archbishop Wood, and of course Wood beat him in that one.
Hampton's control problems continue as he misses outside with that first one. 53 games played before yesterday, Mark, in Carpenter Cup competition, and believe it or not, that was the first extra inning game.
Yeah. And as we mentioned, Hampton's a control pitcher so far. He hasn't been on, and obviously it's been to the Catholic League's advantage. And Masella, the guy at the plate, is just a terrific athlete, a starting quarterback in football, also a scholar athlete too, one of the many at LaSalle, and has just done a great job for Joe Parisi, a 3-year starter.
He takes a strike here, looking all the way, with Hampton having some control difficulties in the early going, and the count's even 1-1. 2 men on, nobody out, no score here, bottom of the first inning. Hampton steps off to chase McEwing back to second. Infield playing in double play depth.
And Mike, just as we said, Chester County has not used a lot of its top frontline people in starting this game. The Catholic League has done the same thing, so it's a little bit of a game of strategy here. As for people that don't know, obviously pitchers cannot go more than 3 innings in this game, and the starters can't go, or any player position can't go more than 6.
Starters, you're absolutely correct. No matter when you get into the ball game as a player, not a pitcher, you can play 6, but that's it. Good pitch.
Yeah, and manager Paul Ellis did that yesterday against the South Jersey Central team, starting Sean Sr., who may be the premier high school pitcher in the Delaware Valley. He did use a lot of his second-line people kind of conceding that, and that's why they were able to come back for the big rally at the end.
This will be a tough play. Second baseman McGraw will get across in time to get it to Stroh at first, and they'll retire Masella for the first out. But he moves the runners along, does his job. McEwing going over to third, Halls into second. And the starting first baseman will come to the plate, Bob Sadwick.
Yeah, and an excellent piece of hitting that time by Masella, trying to advance the runners, giving himself up a little bit by going the opposite way.
Sadwick comes in looking for his first hit. Been up just a couple of times. So both teams have advanced the runner to third in the first inning. And Hampton will try to duplicate the feat of starting pitcher Krause by keeping that runner at third and not allowing him to score. This should be problems down the right field line, but foul. And the Chester team gets a break there. Hustling over was Dennis Cassell from right field, but just falls foul. 1-1 count, 1 out. And swings through that outside fastball, so he's staying outside to Sadwick and having success. Big out for pitcher Hampton as Sadwick swings and misses. 2 down. John Reimel comes to the plate. Hampton looking to get out of early trouble. This is inside tight with a fastball. Ball 1.
Of course, we see a lot of people from Archbishop Wood. Their manager, Paul Ellis, is managing this Carpenter Cup team. Of course, they won the Catholic League Championship this season, their first in 25 years. And
2-0 pitch. Swung out and missed. Looking for that fastball. He got it, but could not get the bat on it. 2-1 the count, 2 down.
The other thing is, Mike, when you haven't pitched in an entire week, maybe location's the first thing that you have a little bit of trouble with. The opposite problem that the Catholic League pitchers are going to be having.
Well, that is a pitcher's pitch there as he hits the outside corner and getting a good job done by home plate umpire Tom Beck. Count even, 2-2, 2 out, 2 on. And he swings through this one. And excellent pitching done here in the first inning by Eric Hampton. First 2 batters on, but he gets out of this jam with 2 strikeouts. 1 inning done. It's 0-0 at the vet. We'll be back. Defensive alignment today for the Catholic League entry. At first base, they'll start Bob Sadwick. Alongside of him at second, Tom Hansis. The starting shortstop, Chris Masella. At third base, Scotty Ely. And in the outfield, starting in left, Harry Carr. The center fielder today, Joe McEwing. And starting over in right, John Reimel. Starting behind home plate, the all-city catcher, Scott Halls. And in his second inning of action on the mound, Ryan Krause. Krause, 1-0, already has a victory in the Carpenter Cup competition this year. Has pitched in 3 innings plus the 1 today. Came in with 3 strikeouts and picked up another one, his 4th, when he struck out Stroh in the first inning.
And Mike, it's pretty essential that the Catholic League gets 3 innings today out of Krause. I would look for them to come in with Brian Warren next from St. James, who also we saw a little bit yesterday, and he's just done an outstanding job in his 2 years in the Carpenter Cup. And if they can get a combined, say, 5 to 6 innings out of those 2, things could look a little brighter for them.
Carney looking for his first hit of the tournament, has been up a couple of times. Yeah, pitching selection, Mark, is going to be very, very interesting today. 1-1 pitch, and gets strike 2 on the inside corner. South Carolina, hotbed of baseball, the Gamecocks. What a magnificent facility down there, as many of the colleges have now developed. And I'll tell you, that becomes very difficult for young men when they make those trips to not say, hey, I want to play here. Count even, 2-2. First batter, Lupacini, started the game getting on base, and now Carney looking to start things off for Chester here with something. He lines a foul into the right field stands. Count will remain 2-2.
A lot of times, Mike, the teams from the Chester County area kind of get overlooked because they're not in very big leagues. For example, Downingtown is in the Chessmont League. There are only 4 teams in that league, so a lot of times they get a little overlooked. But when you think about it, they had Phoenixville, which won the PIAA District 1 championship in 3A, and Downingtown, which was the runner-up. So they both advanced to the state tournament. Both had tough first-round losses in the state tournament, especially Phoenixville.
Count full to Shannon Carney. And Kraus misses high. It'll be a walk for Carney, and again the leadoff batter for Chester County starts at first base.
And Kraus showing a little bit of moxie up there, going with a 3-2 breaking pitch. A lot of confidence in that pitch, but it was wide.
Nobody out, runner at first base. Batter will be Dennis Cassell. Cassell also without a hit in the tournament as Kraus chases Carney back to first.
Yeah, this year he hit 380 for Springford, and he'll be going to a pretty good baseball program at Widener University.
One of the better Division III athletic programs in every sport. Again, Kraus goes to first. A little better move this time. Kraus chases him back again. See what Cassell does this time. They're running. Swung through and missed. High throw, and the tag from Hanses is not in time, and Carney is in safely with the stolen base. So nobody out. Carney at second, 1-2 the count on the batter. Kraus misses high, 2-2. And Ryan Kraus may be showing a little tiredness in that arm. Mark throwing a lot of pitches here in the early going. And so 3 straight high pitches swung on by Cassell, and he is a strikeout victim. It's Kraus's second K of the ball game, and with 1 out, Chris Lengel, the starting left fielder, will step in. Lengel with no statistical entries in the tournament to this point. Carney started the inning with a walk. He stole second, and Kraus was able to get Cassell on strikes as Lengel brings one back foul. Lengel misses this one. Good pitch off speed from Kraus. How about that, huh? Trash. 0-2, and he wastes one away this time. Let's see if he tries to bring it back on the hands. I've watched most of the good pitchers in the tournament. Of course, I've seen them all. This is my 11th game. And most of the top pitchers, Mark, have been doing that this year, throwing inside. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and it gets by Hawes, and Lengel's going to advance to first base, and they'll move Carney over to third. So that will be a strikeout recorded for Kraus, but John Delaney, the center fielder, comes to the plate. He's got runners at the corner. There's 1 down. Not moving on this pitch, and Kraus delivers a strike to Delaney. Ryan Kraus, runners at the corner, 0-1 count. Good pitch, strike 2. Delaney fouls it back, stays alive.
Like the Carpenter Cup is really a kind of a tournament of endurance. It's not the best 9 people against the best 9. You have to really show depth, and this is going to become a very interesting chess match as to when some of the other players will come in as that time Delaney strikes out.
Good pitching by Kraus, and sees his way out of it as he gets the second out. 2 strikeouts this inning, 1 in the first. He's got 3 for the ball game.
Technically, right, he has 3 strikeouts this inning.
Yes, that's correct. So he's got 4. McGraw, the batter. McGraw looks at a strike. Top of the second inning, no score. Runners at the corner, 2 down. Will it stay fair? No, it's just foul down the right field line, and McGraw comes close to scoring a couple.
McGraw going to BC next year. He was saying before the game he doesn't know if he's going to be playing baseball there.
Fouls another one back. Foul, apparently the call. 0-2.
I'll tell you, I really like the way Kraus is setting up batters. He had been starting out with McGraw outside, and then he tried to bust him in with a slow breaking pitch that time. And he's really moving the ball around and really showing a great intelligence out there.
And wastes one high, 1-2 the count. Carney at third, Lengel at first, 2 down.
You know, another thing is McGraw not getting around with those foul balls to right field. You wonder if right fielder Reimel might even want him closer to the line, too.
Lines this one into center field, but McEwing is there and puts it away, and the threat is put down by pitcher Ryan Kraus. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Still no score.
People getting together and give their time up for this tournament just shows that type of spirit.
Pitcher Hampton in his second inning of action starts Sean Vandergrift, the designated hitter, off with a ball. And misses again, ball 2. Vandergrift hitting 200 coming in.
You know, he's one of the many good underclassmen from Bishop Kenrick this year, Mike, as he takes a strike that time. Vandergrift, as I mentioned, hit 392 for Kenrick, and Kenrick might be one of the favorites next year in the Catholic League Northern Division. They have a lot of good young players, and including a young man by the name of Sergio, who we'll see later on, who's only, I believe, the second freshman to play in the Carpenter Cup tournament.
Ryan Lazinski, the other one. 2-2 the count remains as Vandergrift puts it away. Sergio may not be able to play today. They're a little worried down in the dugout. All kinds of bumps and bruises, and he's having some trouble with a leg. 14-year-old freshman, and what a future. Hampton tries the inside part of the plate and misses. Count goes full to Vandergrift.
You know, you talked about Ryan Lazinski, the sophomore at Holy Cross. I'll tell you after this.
Sharply hitting the center, but up quickly is Delaney, and these outfielders now, by this point in the tournament, really getting a much better reading than they did in the early going.
I was saying about Ryan Lazinski, only a sophomore. One pro scout told me that if he were a senior, forget about potential, if he were a senior this year, he would have been a first-round draft choice. That's...
Scott Ely, a hot hitter, coming in at 375, looks at ball 1. Lazinski, well, he can catch, he can throw, he can run, and he can hit. What else is left? And he also has the size.
Here's another guy, Scott Ely of Bonner, hit 540 this year for the Friars. He still is not committed to a college, so if any coaches are, you know, I'm surprised coaches into this, but the one problem that colleges have, especially at this time of year, a lot of them have run out of scholarships.
There are some available at this point as Ely pounds a foul back. Full scholarships or 3/4, and that opens up some money. Good pitch outside corner. Ely looks at it for strike 3, and we've got 2 outs here.
Yeah, and as we see Harry Carr, I mean, one of the fine young players in this area from Roman Catholic, only a sophomore this season, and not too many sophomores have played on the Carpenter Cup for the Catholic League. One I remember is Marty Carey from Cardinal O'Hara, who just had an outstanding career at O'Hara. Went on this year, he was a starting shortstop as a freshman at St. Joe's University, and they really love the way he plays defensively there for the Hawks.
1-1 pitch. Misses the outside corner this time. 2-1 to Carr.
You know, Mike, we'll see another sophomore later in the game as you pick it up there.
And by it, first baseman Stroh can't make it. This will get into the corner, and Carr will have at least 2 as Cassell chases it down. He's going to keep going. They hit the cutoff man, McGraw, but he throws it over Luke Piccini's head. An excellent job backup done by Chuck Kilby. That's Chris Lengel came all the way in from left field. A heads-up play by the young man Lengel in left, who's there to back it up and save a run. So we've got a 2-out triple to Harry Carr. Take a look at this good piece of hitting.
Yeah, he went with the pitch, and Carr, as we said, one of the top sophomores around. Ooh, just pulled it right by the first base bag. Good try by Stroh there, but Carr showing his excellent speed. At first, it looked like he'd only get a double, but he kept going.
McEwing misses an outside pitch, strike 1. So Joe McEwing, who walked first time up, stole second and got over to third. Oh, check it. We're down to Tom Hansis. Hansis, the number 9 hitter, starting second baseman. So McEwing will have to wait. I tried to rush him in, but he's not going to get the chance at this at-bat. 0-2 the count to Hansis.
Hansis, only a junior, hit 405 this year for Archbishop Carroll.
Worked out of the first inning jam. Now with a 2-out base runner Carr at third base, we'll try to get Hansis to end this threat.
And Coach Frank Allison at Carroll did an excellent job getting his team into the championship game, winning the Southern Division.
A lot of power shown here by Hansis. This drives Lengel back, and it's foul ball. But, hey, Hansis got it all, did he not? Now, there's only been 1 home run in this tournament, the 22nd home run of the 5 years of competition. That hit by Ryan Richards into the left field bullpen. Well, he misses on this one. Third inning baseball from Veterans Stadium, the final game of the 1990 Carpenter Cup, Philadelphia Catholic and Chester. We're scoreless, and we're back to the top of the lineup. Josh Lupacini stepping in for the second time. He pops this one up, and Ely will get a chance to get him again, this time over in foul territory, and Scotty gets it. One down here. Number 2 batter, the shortstop, Chuck Kilby, steps in.
Mike, we ought to say something about Ryan Krause, the pitcher. Has not come to college, although LaSalle is very much in the running. And if LaSalle's able to get him, they've already gotten Kevin Corbel, who we may see later in the game, who's done a great job in relief in this tournament from Cardinal Doherty.
Ely, another chance at third across the diamond. Good stretch by Sadwick. 2 quick outs here, and Krause has to love it as they're swinging early, and that's got to help him. Number 3 hitter, the first baseman, Darren Stroh. Stroh, a strikeout victim of Krause in the first inning. Early in the tournament, tons of college scouts here. They've got a chance to see a lot of baseball last weekend as we opened the tournament with a Thursday night game, went to 2 on Friday evening, and then triple headers on both Saturday and Sunday. This ball will be foul, hit well by Stroh, but into the stands in right field. 1-1 count on Stroh. Fastball by Krause. Krause misses 2-2. Yeah, what was that? The longest appearance by a pitcher, I think, in Carpenter Cup history by Corbel.
Well, the reason he went 4 innings, even though the maximum 3, is the Catholic League had run out of its pitchers, and the last guy in there has to keep going.
Pop foul into the stands on the count will be full. South Jersey Central, I think, probably because of their proximity, Mark, probably brought more people to the Carpenter Cup than any other team.
Yeah, Delaware also brings a pretty good contingent. They have a real good following in there too. A lot of times, Mike, it depends on when you played. Some teams played on nights when there were graduations.
Good job done by pitcher Krause as he retires Stroh in the side here in the third. That'll be another strikeout. He's got 5 in the ball game here. We'll go to the bottom of the third. We're still scoreless.
Yeah, Rich Bradley's done a great job with the press. And the other thing I'd like to mention, Mike, and it's an underrated thing, but the job the Phillies do as far as really opening up their arms, this would not be able to be done. And it's to my knowledge, the only one in the country that a major league team, kind of gets this involved with. And Richard Dietz and all the members of the Phillies, and of course it all starts with Bill Giles. And they've all just done a terrific job in really helping out the youngsters.
Eric Hampton starts McEwing off 0-2. And gets him on 3 straight pitches. That will be another strikeout. Scotty Halls, catcher, steps in for the second time. Walked first appearance.
Mike, prior to Harry Carr's triple, I was just ready to talk about underclassmen that are playing in this tournament. There is
good play made by shortstop Kilby across the Stroh for out number 2.
Just I was saying is underclassmen play. We're going to see later in the game an outstanding sophomore, Roger Harrington of LaSalle. Maybe one of the quickest people in this entire tournament, and yesterday may have made one of the most outstanding catches, I'm told. I had to get here later in the day because I was doing the radio show, but I was told that was one of the best catches people have seen in quite some time.
Vasella, the batter, he looks at a ball. You're absolutely right. Steve Lang, in a crucial situation from Cherry Hill, really hit one a ton to left field, and Harrington went back up in the air on the warning path, took it over his shoulder, and then flew into the fence and then bounced off. Pop up here and handled by second baseman McGraw, and going quickly here in the second inning is the Philadelphia Catholic team. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to 4th inning action. We're still scoreless. Jason Troilo to start the 4th inning of action for Chester County. He'll be looking and swinging at the first pitch of Eric Parker. Parker making his 4th appearance. And gets strike 2 on the inside corner. Walked a couple and struck out 3. Fouled back. 0-2 the count to Jason Troilo.
Yeah, he went 2 innings yesterday, gave up 3 runs, but none of them were earned, Mike, and just had an outstanding season this year, 7-2, 1.65 ERA, and he was telling me before the game he is verbal to St. Joe's, and I know the St. Joe's people have been had been to a lot of his games, and very excited to be having him.
He'll look at a breaking ball here, and Parker will have his first strikeout. Good job done by the starting pitcher, Ryan Krause. Gets credit for 6 strikeouts. And he swings and fouls one.
Yeah, unlike the Pennsauken players, the Phoenixville ones have not signed, and I think on deck too, the other one, Creighton Gabonik, and who was drafted by the A's in the 6th round and has turned down their initial too. Very interesting, and we thought this would happen. Coach McNichol going to his top players, and they'll probably play the final 6 innings. Ramirez, Gabonik, and we'll see more.
1-1 count, 1 out, fouled back. Good breaking ball here from Parker, and that will be his 2nd strikeout to start his first inning of work here in the final game of the Carpenter Cup. So Parker with 2 outs, but he's got a tough one coming up here. Gabonik coming to the plate, pinch hit. He's a young guy with a lot of size and great maturity. 6'3", 195, catcher from Phoenixville.
You know, he would have been taken a lot higher, but he declared to A&M back in late March and basically told the major league teams that he really wanted to go to college, he wants a shot at the Olympics. The A's still took him in the 6th round, made an offer to him, and he declined it. In fact, he said, Mike, he's been pretty open about it. They offered him a $25,000 bonus and $15,000 for his education, which may not be bad for a 6th round pick, but most people felt that Gabonik was, say, a 2nd to 4th round type of selection had he not committed to a college.
Given the trouble they have finding catchers and watching this guy behind the plate in his other appearances, you'd have to think that may well be true.
And he said one of the reasons he signed early was, you know, they were recruiting other catchers. In fact, one of them they were recruiting.
Gabonik will not hurt himself in anybody's eyes here with a sharp line drive single in the left field.
One of them they were recruiting was a young man named Mike Lieberthal, who later verbaled to Arizona, and then of course the Phillies took him. So Gabonik said, listen, they're in with all these other people, I better take the scholarship now. So it was an interesting process of recruiting.
Another change coming to the plate here for the Chester County team. This will be Wise. So 2 outs and Gabonik at first base following his single. Parker will be working to Dave Wise. Wise batting for Lengel. They'll put somebody else in the DH slot. Into the gap. Wise, but chased down by Reimel. Reimel gets there in a hurry, and Parker gets out of this one in the 4th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. We remain scoreless. Gee, this is the first time that these 2 teams have met in the 5-year history of the Carpenter Cup. The Catholic League team is the first franchise in Carpenter Cup history to win 10 games, and they've played in more tournament games than anyone else. Catholic League winning the championship in 1987. Bob Sadwick fouls the first pitch of Sheridan off. 0-1 here to start the bottom of the 4th. We have still not scored a run. Changes speeds here and gets strike 2 on Sadwick.
In that contest, in fact, he pitched the night of his graduation.
Which one straight back, count remains 0-2. Sadwick a strikeout victim of Eric Hampton in the 1st inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for Chester. 0-1-1 for the Catholic League team. Wrapped on the ground is second baseman McGraw, and across to Stroh. 1 down here in the 4th. Steve McSherry. Gabonik now behind home plate.
Also, Alex Petrolati of Springford, now your 3rd baseman, Mike.
A.J. Petrolati.
David Wise, who pinch hit last inning, will also stay in the game. David Wise of Great Valley and played left field.
2-0 the count to the batter, Reimel. Reimel pounds this one into left field, and Wise will get his first opportunity over near the foul line, and he puts it away for out number 2.
I don't want to give the impression that both teams are saving all of their top players for the end, but they are saving, you know, many of them.
A 1 pitch to Vandegrift. Sheridan misses outside 1-1. Well, I know they're going to get Brian Peacher in the ball game soon. He has been the offensive catalyst for Catholic so far, as we see another foul ball.
Certainly.
1-2 pitch from Sheridan, misses high and gets by Gubanek. Count even, 2-2, 2 out. We have no score here in the bottom of the inning. A lot of people probably very surprised in this final. Not to have seen more offense. On the ground and coming across to cut it off is Petrolati. He throws wildly and up in the air and into the stands. This will get Vandegrift down to second, following the error on A.J. Petrolati. His first play of the afternoon, maybe a little excited. Scott Ely for the second time. Ely also a strikeout victim of Hampton. On the ground, this is going to be a tough play. McSherry over behind second base, crosses the diamond, but not in time. Ely will beat this one out for a base hit. Vandegrift moves up to third. So runners at the corner for Philadelphia Catholic, and Sheridan with 2 outs will be scheduled to work and will work to Harry Carr.
And we have Carr coming up, who had the big triple his first time.
Sheridan to Carr. Carr lays off the high fastball, ball 1. So we've had a lot of offensive opportunities in the ball game so far. No one has converted. We have no runs. And the Catholic League with an opportunity here. To third, and they are close to picking off Vandegrift, who, there's the fake, and now back to first, but Ely back. I've seen that play work once in about 22 years.
Yeah, Vandegrift getting still a big lead off third. You wonder why he needs such a big lead, especially with 2 outs.
Carr swings weakly at that one. Count even, 1-1.
And you know, Mike, we talked about Brian Peacher. It appears as if he's going to be coming in the game. He's on deck, ready to come in. So you know they want to get Carr out.
This will go foul into the stands and left. He's running at first. Going to be a base hit into left field on a moving runner from first. Will score the first run of the game. Vandegrift coming in. Ely, who was running all the way over to third, and Carr gets a single in the left field and an RBI. Carr will take it. It's a line drive in the scorebook.
Yeah, and that was a good piece of hitting by Carr, because the pitch before, he did not look good on that outside pitch, and this time he was busted inside. He fought it off and was able to bloop it in. And there's the youngster we talked about, Roger Harrington of LaSalle, pinch running. And don't be surprised, even with 2 outs, Mike, if they send him.
Brian Peacher steps in now as a pinch hitter. Peacher's done a great tournament. There goes Harrington. Hey, excellent throw from Gubanek. Gubanek shows us why he has that high draft selection. And McSherry applies the tag, and that'll do it as Harrington is retired on the attempted steal. We've completed 4. It's 1-0 Catholic on top. New DH in the ball game for Chester County as we go to 5th inning baseball. Steve Catrombone. Eric Parker still on the mound. Comes with a real nice breaking ball. He's up to Catrombone, 0-2. A lot of changes now. We'll try and catch you up on them in a second. Catrombone fouls it back. We've got Harrington in left. Rymel has moved in from right field to play second, and Brian Peacher has entered the game in right field.
You know, it's always good to gamble, but it may come back to haunt the Catholic League. Sending Harrington with a couple runners, with a runner at third, and Brian Peacher, a hot hitter at the plate.
Misses outside, 1-2 the count.
But I'll tell you, it's consistent with their philosophy, Mike. They'll go anytime. Doesn't matter the situation, and their philosophy is let's try to create some situations. We don't have the outward power. In fact, a lot of teams don't in a ballpark this big, and sometimes you have to tailor your strategy to the ballpark you're playing in.
Fools him with a change speed pitch there, and that's a strikeout as Catrombone whiffs on his first at-bat. McSherry at bat for the first time. Looks at a fastball outside and high from Parker.
McSherry hit 380 this year for the Whippets, and Mike, he'll be going to Lafayette.
Play for Joe Hinderline. Looks at ball 2 again. Again outside the high 3-0. McSherry will be looking at least one. I'm going to give you time to think of this one, Mark, with all the teams you cover. I want to know the favorite nickname of Mark Narducci for a high school team.
I will have to think of that for...
McSherry works Parker for 4 straight pitches and a walk. He'll go to first. We'll see A.J. Petrolotti. His first plate appearance today. That's better than that as Petrolotti looks at ball 1. That's 5 straight balls by Parker.
Petrolotti will be going to Drexel next year, and Drexel did pretty well in this area recruiting.
Parker going to try first base. He's been unable to find the strike zone, so he'll go in that direction. Catholic League on top 1-0. We're in the top of the 5th. Petrolotti pounds it foul straight back. Parker by first baseman Sadwick, and this will go all the way down. Peacher will finally get it and has trouble with it there, and continuing to run over the third is Steve McSherry. So he goes to first, 1 time too many, and is able to advance the runner McSherry to third. He'll be there with 1 out and a 1-2 count on Petrolotti, who will now try to lift it to the outfield.
Mike, I think that time, too, McSherry would have stayed at second base, but he saw that Peacher momentarily bobbled the ball. That gave him enough time to get to third.
So Parker digs himself into some more trouble. He started causing this problem, issuing a walk to McSherry, now advances him all the way to third.
So guys getting more than 1 base advancing on that with the wide area.
And here's a wild pitcher, a pass ball, and boy, as Parker caused himself all kinds of trouble as he advances McSherry all the way around, and you're going to have to credit that one to Eric Parker. We're tied now at 1 run apiece. Count goes full to the batter, Petrolotti, who now will also get the first with a walk to the draft. Hanaho looks at ball 1.
Do you remember the year, I guess it was 2 years ago, North Carolina lost a kid from this area, Scott Logic, who was a junior, and he had only pitched something like 12 innings the whole year, which shows you how deep some of those schools are. Scott was drafted into the Seattle Mariners organization where he is right now.
Hanaho now with the count 1-1 with 1 out and 1 base runner at first base. Petrolotti with 1 run in. We're knotted at 1 run apiece. Yeah, Logic was not a happy camper at North Carolina with the way he was not used. Hanaho swings through trying to protect the runner, and Petrolotti will be at second base with the steal. And the problem with Petrolotti seemed to catch himself on that bag incorrectly, and we'll just let him lay there checking the back of his head. Must have come down sharply on him. Petrolotti may have gotten kneed in the head. Check him out. He'll remain in the game. You can bet on that.
Yeah, I think he banged into Reimel on the way on the tag that time, and good to see that he's up right now.
So, setting the scene, we're 1-1 as far as the score goes. We've got 1 out. We've got a 1-2 count on Hanaho, who swung at that outside pitch to give the runner Petrolotti a little help. Hanaho 2 for 4 in the tournament before this plate appearance. Looks at ball 2. Big lead for Petrolotti at second. And Parker just misses with the breaking ball. We're full to Hanaho. Petrolotti already with the steal, taking a lot of lead at second base. He's out on the grass. Hanaho puts it in the hole off the glove of third baseman Ely, and they cannot make a play.
That was an interesting play that time because Massell, backing up the play, really even faked out his third baseman Ely. I think if Ely would have been looking on the bag, they may have been able to pick off Petrolotti at third base, Mike.
So Ely will be charged with his second error of the afternoon. Oh, they're going to change it, call it a base hit. So Hanaho instead will be credited with his first hit of the day. And that's the first hit. Stroh swings and fouls it back. 0-2 the count. Parker out on Does he offer at it? Let's see if we get an appeal. We do not. 1-2 the count, 1 out. Petrolotti over at third, Hanaho at first. And he is. High, Halls throws through to Masella. Safe play coming back from the shortstop. And Chester County takes the lead on the double steal. He count now 2-2 on the batter Stroh.
Mike, it's almost the type of play where I'm just not sure if you're able to try to go for the tag and have enough time, especially on the high school level, to come back to home. Maybe if they would have cut off the throw and not even attempted to tag him, in fact, they probably would have gotten him.
Well, with the left-handed batter, it helped Chester because it meant the shortstop had to come across as Stroh strikes out for the third straight time.
Yeah, we have a new person in the game, Jeff Jakowski of Pottstown, pinch hitting for Troyola of Kennett, and as we're seeing a pitching change too.
So Parker will be done. He leaves with Chester County leading 2-1.
This is Steve Hoppel, Mike, of Bishop Kenrick. And Hoppel, again, we talked about those young Bishop Kenrick underclassmen. He's another one. 4-3 this season, 2.43 ERA.
17-year-old junior. I think Philadelphia Catholic, I haven't done a statistical analysis of it, Mark, but I think the Catholic League entry this year is the youngest team in the tournament. More underclassmen than anyone else.
The thing about the Catholic League is they have a good delegate balance. They have enough seniors to, carry them through and give them that leadership, but they also have enough talented underclassmen to keep it going for each year.
Jakowski on the ground to Masella. Masella gobbles it up, gets it across, and they're out of the inning, but not before they give up a couple of runs, and Catholic will come to bat here in the bottom of the fifth. They're behind 2-1. Peacher.
Mike, one new insertion into the lineup. Dan Blackburn, the fine first baseman from Westchester East, is now in there replacing Darren Stroh.
He'll be at first base. Sure did. 2-1 count on Brian Peacher. Fouls it back. Peacher came into the game hitting .556 with a .667 on base and slugging percentage. Has a double and 4 singles in 9 at-bats. Scored a run and driven 1 in. Has also walked 3 times. And he works the count from Sheridan to 2-2.
And he's another of those talented players that is not yet committed to a college so far. Hit .521 this year for Judge.
Strikes out here. Gabanich will get the ball down to the new first baseman, Blackburn. That'll be a strikeout. Joe McEwing remaining in the ball game here in the 5th inning. McEwing has walked and struck out. He takes ball 1. Got McEwing, that got McNichol. McNichol we'll see a little later. He misses twice, 2-0 the count to. Gets a strike on the outside corner. McEwing did not like the call.
You just really like the way Gabonik takes charge back there, moving his target all around, and you just see that he's in total command back there. And I talk to a lot of scouts, and obviously when you look at a high school player, you look at his offense first, but they're equally as impressed as his defense back there. And he's a converted third baseman. He has not even been catching that long. It just does a tremendous job.
Reaches out, then puts this one foul down the right side. Just punched that ball to protect himself on the 2-2 count.
Local kids are a little neglected. Like, I'm wondering why a Sheridan has to still be undecided by this point and, not have more people interested. You think he could pitch on a Division I level. Obviously, if a school like Miami wants him to walk on there.
Lifted to left field, and Wise comes over and handles it there. McEwing is retired. We've got 2 outs. And Halls will come to the plate for the 3rd time. If you don't have a great junior season, it's very, very difficult to pick up the scholarship senior season.
Yeah, but in baseball, they should allow a little more leeway because, as you know, the baseball development of someone can be so pronounced within 1 year, 1 year's time, Mike.
Well, they're all in a struggle in a competitive situation, like to get the early signings. And with the NCAA limit at 13 scholarships across the entire 4 years, it makes it very tough.
That's the other problem. Most of the schools in this area don't get anywhere near the limit of 13. The school decides how many they allow to give, and some of them maybe even give half, some of them maybe just give tuition. You know, it is a difficult thing, and I know it's tough to recruit during the season because the baseball teams are playing all the time, but now's certainly a prime time to look at people.
And Halls will be a 2-out base runner with the walk going to first. So that if you wound up with 13 players who were receiving full financial aid because of their economic situation, you could offer no scholarships.
Right.
And many, many people do not understand that as we look at a called strike on Chris Masella. Masella popped out to second base last time up and grounded to second in the first inning. 0 for 2. Grounds this one up the middle. That's got eyes and will get through. And Halls will take a look at center fielder Ramirez and will not try to advance to third. So we've got 2 runners on with 2 outs here in the 5th inning for the Catholic League team.
We have a pinch hitter coming in now, again from Bishop Egan. Frank Fisher stepping to the plate, Mike, coming in for Bob Sadwick.
And Fisher will go to first base after this inning, replacing Sadwick.
You know, he's a real interesting story. Not only his baseball stats, he's #1 in his class, Mike, and he's earned an academic scholarship to the University of Pittsburgh. Get this stat, 1440 on his college boards.
Not bad.
That might be more than you and I had combined, right?
Well, speak for yourself, Mark. I'm so old they didn't have college boards then.
Did they have college?
Yeah. They had college boards. Fisher looks at ball 1. Now strikes at 1 and misses. But I'll tell you what, in those years, you took the test, but you really weren't even aware of it. The kind of tension that has occurred in the last decade and a half didn't exist way back when. Checks his swing on that one.
Well, you know,
Appeal to third, and it is not a strike. 2-1 the count.
He didn't just put up good academic numbers. He hit 396 this season, leading the Vikings to the Catholic League title.
The Vikings. Popped up. Ramirez gets a quick start. Camps under it in center, and that will do it for Catholic here in the 5th inning. We'll move to 6th inning baseball. It's 2-1. We've got a good one, or 2-2. I'm sorry. We've got a good one here at the vet. Cesar Ramirez up for the 2nd time. He's playing in center field now. He struck out first time and he pitch hit for Shannon Carney. Steve Hoppel working on the mound for Catholic as the game is 2-1. Chester County on top of Philadelphia Catholic. Ramirez looks at a wide fastball.
You know, Mike, I think the reason Parker, the lefty, was taken out, you know, even before the inning ended, they're staring at a couple of tough right-handed hitters. Of course, Jakowski, who made the last out. Then you have Ramirez, Gabonik, Wise. So I think that they were trying to go righty-righty in this situation.
Good time catches the outside corner. Count 2-1. Reaches out and taps it foul to the new first baseman, Frank Fisher. So we've got Fisher at first, Reimel at second. Masella and Ely remain on the left side at short and third. Harrington in left, McEwing still in at center, and Brian Peacher over in right. Stan Bystrick, the new catcher, replacing Scotty Halls, and Hoppel on the mound. Again, Ed reaches out and protects himself. Count remains 2-2.
You project Ramirez as a sort of a leadoff hitter. I guess that's why the Indians drafted him on the 37th round. But he had a little pop in his bat this year. 4 homers, 26 RBIs in leading Phoenixville to the PIAA 3A title in District 1.
Tough play. This will be at third base for Ely. He gets it across, but the speedy Ramirez is there. That'll be a base hit all the way. Gabonik looks at an inside fastball, ball 1. So Hoppel looking at Gabonik, much ballyhooed catcher in the tournament who has but the 1 hit so far. With great power, can open a game up quickly with 1 swing.
Well, you know, he had 11 home runs this season, 39 RBIs for the Phantoms. And
the Phantoms, huh?
Yeah, not a bad nickname, right? Hit .520, just a great year.
And looks at ball 2. So Hopple behind here may have to come with the fastball, and you can bet Gabonik will be looking for it. Officially, they have Chester County for 4 hits. We have them for 3. He's running, and on the ground, foul to third base. So hit and run on. Ramirez had a good jump and had second safely, but Gabonik thought he had a pitch he had to swing at. You just sense it's going to break open. Hasn't happened yet. Ramirez goes again, and Gabonik lifts it straight up in the air. Big time pop up, and the catcher Bystrick is able to handle it and will double up Ramirez at second base. So Cesar does not hear his coaches screaming at him, and an excellent heads-up play by Stan Bystrick. Gets the pop foul for the out and then doubles Ramirez at first.
Well, what can you say?
And now, instead of a real problem for Steve Hopple, he sees his way out of this one without any problem, and David Wise steps up for the second time. He flew to right field last time at the plate. Illy, whoa, again for the second time in this ball game, puts one into the stands, and Wise will wind up at second base. Not a happy game for Illy at third base.
Well, you have to
not the easiest task. Cantrambone looks at ball 1, his second at bat. He struck out in the 5th inning. So we've got 2 down, Wise at second, and Cantrambone with a 1-0 count. Beaten on the ground to Reimel at second. He crosses over and gets it to Fisher, and that'll do it. And here in the 5th inning, Chester County down without a run. We'll go to the Catholic half of the inning, behind 2-1. Reimel at the plate now, 1-1 count from Sheridan. Quiet ball game here in the final. Good pitch that time, outside corner, 1-2 the count.
I don't think there's any question, though. If you had to rate the top 2 players probably in this tournament, other than senior position players, as he gets a base hit in there, would have to be Lazinski and Gabonik. I mean, you don't have to be an expert to realize that, both catchers.
So Reimel starts the Catholic League team with a base hit here in the 6th inning. And we'll have a pinch hitter here for Vandergrift, Nick Del Percio. Del Percio steps in, had a great ball game yesterday. 3 base hits. It was in the middle of the offensive explosion as they came up with the extra inning victory over South Jersey Central. And we've got a pinch runner down there, Sean Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck first. Good swing that time to no avail by Del Percio. So Hollenbeck will pinch hit for, or pinch run for Reimel.
And Mike, you know, we talked about the underclassmen. Del Percio is, again, another one of them. Just a junior from Newman, hit .444 this year.
Looking forward to a big senior season is Del Percio. 0-2 back in the count, but he will get first base as a result of a mistake by Sheridan, who hits Nick, moving Hollenbeck down to second. And Del Percio over at first base now, hit by pitch. And Scotty Ely will get a chance for the 3rd time. He struck out in the 2nd, singled in the 4th. Yeah, a lot of conversation between Ely and his coach, Paul Ellis.
That time he didn't look like he was bunting at all, and I think a guy like Ely has such a great stick. I think
you were taking a look at Chuck Fritz, number 21, warming up in the Chester County bullpen. 1-1 the count now to Ely. 2 runners on, nobody out. Hollenbeck, the pinch runner at second, and Del Percio, the pinch hitter at first. Ely lifts a foul straight back. 1-2 the count. Sheridan misses high, count even at 2. Catholic with 5 hits, but 3 big errors that have hurt him, and Ely swings and misses at a bad pitch. Good job done by Gabonik to hold that pitch out of the dirt. So Sheridan gets the first out with a strikeout. That's his second in his relief appearance, and now Roger Harrington will step to the plate. Harrington up for the first time, replaced Harry Carr as a pinch runner and was thrown out stealing. Good pitch from Sheridan.
And as we said at the time, that steal could have really could come back to haunt this Catholic League because there was a guy on third base and Peacher was up with 2 outs in the inning.
Well, your suggested bunt now looks big as Ely was retired on the strikeout and runners remain at first and second. Beaten on the ground, tough play for shortstop. He will get the play at second base. Good job done that time by Corey Hanaho at second base, getting it over to McSherry.
And a situation again where you have the speedy Harrington at first with 2 outs.
And they go with the throw to third again, chasing Holland back.
I think this time the Catholic League will be a little more careful, and I don't think Harrington will be going anywhere, especially after being caught down by Gabonic's gun.
Beaten on the ground by Peacher. This is going to be a tough play.
That's a base hit.
Yep, all the way. That'll be a single RBI for Brian Peacher. So Hollenbach scores. That ties the ball game at 2 runs apiece. Harrington will be safe at second, and Peacher will be at first. 2-2 the score here in the bottom of the 6th. McEwing remains in the ball game. He'll bat for the 4th time. He walked in the first, struck out in the 3rd, and flied out to left in the 5th. Lifts it to right field, but this will go foul in the stands down there. 0-1 the count. Now they go back to second and throw it wildly into center field. Ramirez will come up with it and try to make the play at second. As advancing to third is Harrington, over to second is Peacher. So an error on the throw by Sheridan. Play that probably looked good to them when they were thinking about it, and winds up putting 2 runners in scoring position instead of having them at first and second.
Yeah, and Harrington and his speed kind of caused that. He had a pretty big lead on there, forced the throw, and you have to wonder if he was thinking about taking off for third.
And we get the base hit to right field. This will score 1, and now possibly 2. Good throw coming to the plate, but goes over to the right side, and because of the errant throw on the pickoff play, the Catholic League team gets 2 more runs. They are going to kick themselves on that prior play.
Yeah, and that was a great piece of hitting by McEwing, who took an outside fastball, went the opposite way with it that time, and again, the Catholic League forces you to make mistakes and everything, and Tchaikovsky bobbled the ball a little bit, and that gave the Catholic League more than enough time to get 2 runners home.
Yeah, they take the lead now 4-2, and Bystrick comes to the plate for the first time. Peacher fakes a move to second. They have thrown off pitcher Sheridan somewhat that time. 2-run lead in the bottom of the 6th. 2 outs. And going all the way, no problem at all on that one. What a break he had. Excellent job by Joe McEwing to steal a base and put him in scoring position.
And it's interesting how your strategy all of a sudden changes now that you have the lead that time. Gabonic again got an excellent throw, but I think they would have that one on Johnny Bench, Mike. He had a terrific jump that time.
2-0 the count to the batter Bystrick. Sheridan gets him to drive 1 to the first baseman. Blackburn will take it for him himself. 4-2 after 6. We'll be back. Brian Warren will be facing McSherry here to start the 7th inning. 4-2. Catholic taking the lead with the 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Good pitch from Warren.
Mike, the defensive alignment now, Carlos Galara from Doherty, he's now at second base. Sean Hollenbach replaces Masella at short. Dave DeTrolio is now at third base replacing Ely. Peacher moves to center field, McEwing out of the game. Joe McNichol, the junior from LaSalle, is now in right field, and I believe that'll catch us up.
And that will still be Bystrick behind the plate, Harrington in left, and Warren on the mound. McSherry looks at ball 1, 0-2. Still not as much offense as we anticipated today. The pitchers we thought would be a little arm weary. Turned in favor of the offense hasn't really happened. Warren bounces one up here, handled by Bystrick. 2-2 the count.
Warren, by the way, another deceptive record. He was involved in a lot of close games this season, Mike. He was 4-5 this season for St. James, but he had a 1-point ERA, a 1.90 ERA as he punched out the first batter.
All right, McSherry down on strikes. We'll go to the top of the lineup. A.J. Petrolati coming to the plate for the second time. He walked, stole a couple of bases, came in on the back end of the double steal in the fifth. Warren changing speeds, misses ball 1. Misses inside this time with the fastball, 2-0.
Warren, by the way, another one of those players, Mike, that is not committed to a college, and as we said, he had a great showing last year in the Carpenter Cup also.
Gets a strike here. 3 straight fastballs to Petrolati. Beats it on the ground. Going to be problem here. That will be, and wait for that call as Hollenbach cannot come up with it. And they rule it an error.
Yeah, I think he took his eye off the ball just a little bit to look at the runner that time. Even down by 2, I wouldn't doubt if Chester County maybe tries to make some noise on the base paths. You know, they have to create something right now, Mike.
Corey Hanaho will be the try and keep things going. Hanaho up for the second time, has a single. It was on the front end of that double steal that resulted in a run. From the Hill School. Ball and a strike now to Hanaho. Good pitch from Warren.
You know, some of these averages, Hanaho hit .538 this season, and what makes all this more impressive is guys like Hanaho, maybe the best players on their team, they're not always seeing the best pitches, and they're still being able to tear the cover off it.
Warren over to Fisher at first to chase Petrolati back.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a decoy move by Warren or not, but that was not a very good move. Many times the pitcher won't show his best move the first couple times.
Warren misses low this time and in the dirt, 2-1. 2-1, 1 out, 1 on. Catholic up by 2, 4-2 here in the top of the 7th. Sunday afternoon, Father's Day at the Vet. Bystrick takes the foul on the hand. It's 2-2.
You know, forgotten in all this is the excellent job Hoppel did coming in relief after yesterday really being touched up a little bit, and shows a lot of resiliency for the Bishop Kendrick Jr., and who right now stands to be the winner of this game if things stay the way they are.
Runner going, Petrolati. Good throw from Bystrick, not quite in time. He'll hang on with that right foot. He's safe at second with the steal. Petrolati. And Hanaho will be down on strikes. So 2 outs here, 2 strikeouts for Brian Warren. Blackburn comes into the game hitting .400 on the tournament, wraps this one down. Blackburn gets it here, he'll get it to Warren, and they'll complete the play there. That'll retire Chester County here in the 7th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th, 4-2 Catholic on top.
There's a good look, Mike, at Dan Myers, a new pitcher in there from Lansdale Catholic, who's done well in this Carpenter Cup tournament. Again, he's one of those unheralded guys this year. His record only 5-4, but his ERA 1.96. And it's interesting, he's going to Eckerd College in Florida, and One of the top players in the Philadelphia Catholic League is also going there, a shortstop for Bishop Kendrick, B.J. Marchese. So a couple of area players going down to Eckerd.
Carlos Galarza coming to the plate for the first time. Carlos is in the batting order for Masella. Galarza has not gotten a hit in the tournament to this point. Myers starts his appearance with a ball, outside breaking ball. Galarza lifts the foul back into the stands. Dan Myers, 1-1 count. Misses again outside. Ball 2.
And of course, Mike, Coach Paul Ellis of the Catholic, hoping that he can get 2 more innings out of Warren and won't have to go with Coble of Cardinal Doherty, who's really pitched a lot recently, including four innings yesterday. And obviously going according to plan. He's hoping not to use him if he doesn't have to.
Galarza lifts this one foul into the stands on the right side. Count evens up 2-2. Been a great 10.5 ball games here at the Vet. 10 2/3 maybe, I guess. This is the 11th contest this year. Some talk of expansion in the future. Possibly go to 16 teams instead of 12 a year from now. Galarza going to have a base hit into right field. Quickly returned into the infield to hold him to 1. Frank Fisher up for the second time. Flew out last time to center. Replaced the starter Sadwick.
Again, Myers did not show his best move going to first base. We've seen him go there better. That was a little bit better that time. These pitchers don't like to give it all and at one time, kind of like to con the runners a little bit. He still has a better move than that one that we saw.
Good pitch outside corner from Myers. We saw a lot of people picked off in the first 3 or 4 games. First time that people even got a look at the opposing pitchers. Misses here in the breaking ball.
Most of it was done by left-handers. Left-handers have just that way of deceiving you in going to first. Of course, obviously the best example we ever saw was Steve Carlton.
No, the big pickoffs were at third base. Good pitch here from Myers, catches the outside corner. 1-2 the count. Chester County getting a couple of runners from Delaware picked off in that tight ball game. Runners going, Galarza, and he'll get there standing up. As Kubanek has trouble holding on to the ball. Stolen base for Carlos Galarza. 2-2 the count to Frank Fisher at the plate. Nobody out here in the 7th. Philadelphia Catholic with a 2-run lead, 4-2. Dan Myers in his first inning of action. Fisher fouls one held by Kubanek. That'll be a strike 3. And Catholic League has become a very competitive league, baseball-wise, and in other sports.
Oh, I think in baseball, it's one of the best year in, year out in the Delaware Valley. You know, good Little League programs feeding those towns, good Legion programs also.
The Crucker here early for tonight's game with the Phillies. John Kruk watching the action here in the Cup.
Think either of these teams would take him?
Yeah, I'm sure. Attempted bunt here by Hollenbeck goes foul down the right side. Advantage of the AstroTurf in an earlier contest. 1-1 the count, 1 out, 1 on. Ground ball by the third baseman. Petrolati cannot get it, and Galarza will come around to score, and safely into second with a double will be Hollenbeck. Good piece of hitting by Sean Hollenbeck to pick up the RBI and the plate. Run number 5 for the Catholic League team. And Del Percio now will come to the plate and try. Good hit for Del Percio here, and this gets by the center fielder Ramirez, and we'll get 1 run, and Del Percio will probably circle the bases here.
Yeah, no doubt.
A single and a 3-base error will probably be the ruling, but he loves it as he scores, and 2 more big runs making it 7-2 and really making things look a lot easier for Catholic here. Ramirez making a mistake, hoping to try and get a throw on Hollenbeck and keep him from scoring from second. There'll be an appeal play at third, but it will be denied. Not a happy here, center field, Cesar Ramirez.
Yeah, and we've been...
So that changes things in a hurry here. Expressionless Crux says, what happened?
Dave DiTrolio stepping to the plate right now, Mike, inserted in the game, senior infielder from Cardinal O'Hara.
DiTrolio replaces Ely. Ely was 1 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. So Myers down now 7-2. Gets another strike, 1 and 2 the count to DiTrolio. Ten big hits now for Catholic in this team in this game.
Mike,
what happened here?
Just shows you what speed could do as he punches him out there. I thought Ramirez was maybe looking that time at Hollenbach, trying to come home. Took his eye off it a little bit because these guys are creating so much havoc on the base path, and they've been true to form. Single here, stolen base there for the Catholic League.
So DiTrolio down on strikes. Harrington steps in, and Myers gets another strike.
It's kind of a funny mix, this team. It's a team full of leadoff hitters and cleanup hitters, and not a lot in between.
Whoa, this went off the helmet. One of those things that mothers say in the stands, thank goodness for helmets, and Harrington will find himself at first base hit by a pitch.
But thank goodness, too, it was a slow breaking ball, too. It didn't have much velocity on it.
So 2 down, runner at first.
I think Harrington's going to go. I really do, because, he got caught by Gabonik on that other time, and I think he's ready to go. Now they're up 7-2, and as they say, he looks runnerish.
Is that it, huh? As Brian Peacher steps in. Myers chases him back. Harrington's going nowhere at that time. Ball 1 to Peacher. Peacher batting for the second time, has a single, an RBI, and scored a run. Myers thinks he might be running and gets it back across to Blackburn. Three big runs here in the bottom of the 7th for Catholic. Put him out in front 7-2. Peacher full with the off-speed pitch. 1-1 the count. Peacher will have fond memories of this tournament.
Well, I think they're going to be voting for an MVP, and I'll tell you, you could do worse than starting with him.
Does not look like an MVP on that swing at the high fastball out of the strike zone. He's behind in the count 1-2. Yeah, I've mentioned he has been the catalyst. Really responsible for a couple of the victories, getting them here to the final. On the ground, the third baseman Petrolati goes across to McSherry and retires Catholic here in the 7th, but not before they pick up 3 more runs. They're on top 7-2 after 7. Chukowski up for the second time, swings and fouls one back from Brian Warren as Chester County down by 5, 7-2 here in the top of the 8th, tries to battle back. Championship play in the Carpenter Cup 1990. Mike Linder along with Mark Narducci. Warren tries to get him to nibble at an off-speed pitch and misses outside 1-1.
I'll tell you, I really liked Warren last year. I thought he threw hard as a junior, and he's doing nothing to change that in my mind this season. And again, he's one of those players that hasn't committed to a school, but wow, you really have to like the makeup of this guy.
Gets some movement on that last fastball too. This is outside here. Bystrick takes it out of the dirt. 2-2 the count. Nobody out here in the top of the 8th. 7-2 Catholic on top of Chester County, looking for the championship. Sharply hit the left field, but over quickly, using that speed, is Harrington. Roger Harrington puts it away. Then Cesar Ramirez will come to the plate for the 3rd time. He struck out in the 4th. Singleton was doubled up in the 6th inning and has the big error that he would like to atone for here that resulted in a couple of more runs for Catholic. Ramirez to shortstop and by Hollenbach, who's unable to glove it. Over is Peacher's throw to second. And there's that speed we talked about with Ramirez. Safely in the second base. As Gubanek will step in. Gubanek 1 for 2.
And first base open, you know they're going to pitch very carefully to him.
He has struggled offensively in the tournament, has but 1 hit. Just misses there. Texas A&M bound Gubanek, unless some money changes hands in the next week or so. Lays off that inside pitch, and it's 2-0. Well, will they come down the pike with the fastball, or will we see an unintentional intentional? You know the rules of the Carpenter Cup do not allow for intentional walks.
And that's an excellent rule because everyone wants to get a shot at hitting.
Gubanek gets a lot of this one. This will drive Harrington back. Will he be able to get it? No, it's out of here. Right over the Braves side, and Gubanek picks up 2 runs quickly here for Chester County. Gets them right back in the ball game, 7-4. Second one he's hit out here at the Vet this year. First one fair.
Mike, I'll tell you, he waited on that pitch, and that was outside pitch to pull at that time. And Gubanek said that he wanted to get one in this tournament and just really showed his power. People wonder why he had 11 homers this year. What kind of park was he playing in? Well, he showed he can hit him out of any park.
Just to the left of the 371 sign. Harrington got back and gave us a look like he thought he might be able to get to it.
As we get back into the play here, he told me before the game there was only 1 homer this year by Ryan Richards of North Penn. And he said Richards is going to Oklahoma State, and he was kind of ribbing him. And Gubanek had kind of a friendly wager with him, saying, I'm going to get one further than you hit it. I think
he did.
He just won that friendly wager.
Yeah, Richards dropped it into the left field bullpen, just under the Mike Schmidt sign, the newly unveiled Schmidt sign. And now Gubanek puts it off the top of the Braves side. Dave Wise down 0-2 in the count and watches the waste pitch from Warren. And we've got a ball game again, Mark.
Yeah, Gubanek hit a pretty good pitch. It wasn't like he threw it right down the middle of the plate that time. One thing, Mike, about this batter, Wise of Great Valley, is his impressive statistic, 1340 on his college boards. He's going to Richmond University next year, and he really done the job.
Count even 2-2. Sharply hit the second base, handled by Galarza and across to Fisher, and they get the second out of the inning. Steve Catrombone to the plate for the second time, grounded out the second in his last appearance. So Warren wants to retire Catrombone and get safely to the bench. He's going to be tough here again for Hollenbach. Picks this one nicely, crosses the diamond to Fisher, and they get out of it. But the Chester County team scores 2 on the Gubanek home run, and it's 7-4 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Yesterday's game, in which Philadelphia Catholic defeated South Jersey Central, the first extra inning game in Carpenter Cup play. 54th game. This is the 55th game played at the Vet over the 5-year history of this, what is called the Carpenter Cup Classic. And yesterday was also only the second time in the history of the Carpenter Cup that a team has won the ball game in their final at-bat. Last time was also a Philadelphia Catholic victory back in '88. Philadelphia Catholic scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th to defeat South Jersey South in 1988, 6-5. Because of that extra inning, another record set yesterday. Brian Corbel from Catholic had to pitch 4 innings. He picked up the victory. Giving a presentation.
Mike, at the plate right now, one of the outstanding athletes in the area, Joe McNichol, and he's only a junior for LaSalle. And it's not too early to start thinking about football. It looks like Joe's going to be the starting quarterback next year in football for LaSalle. He and Masella were quarterbacks last year. And of course, LaSalle, the defending Catholic League champion, and again, they're going to be very good again next year.
Myers now 1-1, or 2-1 on the count to McNichol. McNichol replaces McEwing in the batting order. Swung on, fouled back, dropped by Gubanek. Seven to 4, Catholic on top in the bottom of the 8th. Breaking ball called strike 3. We'll look at Stan Bystrick. Bystrick coming to the plate for the second time, grounded out to shortstop last time up. So Gabonik gives us the thrill of the day offensively with the long home run, but his team's still down by 3, 7-4.
Wonder if when Oakland sees that, they may up the ante a little bit, Mike.
Well, you know, we've seen some great catching the last couple of years. Remember the job done last year by J.J. Picola, now at North Carolina State. Good pitch, too. Myers quickly out on top. He, in his first appearance last year, you'll recall, in the first inning threw a runner out with no problem, then came to the plate and hit a long home run. On the ground, safely in the center field for a base hit for Bystrick. So we've seen Gabonik, we've seen Picola, we've seen Luzinski. We've seen some great catching here in the last couple of years.
No doubt, and I think catcher's one of the strongest positions again. A 4 underclassman, at least in the South Jersey area, it's really strong. I think in the Pennsylvania area, the pitching is really the strong part among the underclassmen. But you got guys like Steve Hessen of Burlington City, a young sophomore who wasn't even able to make this team because there were so many good players, by the name of Steve Young for Cherry Hill East. He had 495 this season, so a lot of good catchers. And as I said, I think on the PA side, the pitchers are really strong, headed up by Danny Custers of Wood, and we talked about Keith Conway. And can you imagine what this Catholic League team would be like if it didn't have either the injury problems or the people not here? It's a tournament of depth, and they've certainly proven that they have that.
Conway with the back spasms, as we see a good breaking ball here to Galarza.
And there were some other fine players that just weren't able to make it because of other commitments. George Beisel, Father Judge, who was a Maxwell Award winner in football and just a terrific all-around athlete. And every team has that too. I mean, every team has people that can't make it and all, but to be able to do it and to still be able to, be in the championship game and leading is quite a testament.
In front of Gabonik here, let's see, might have a shot, quickly down to second and gets him. There we go, a couple of offensive great play and now a defensive gem from Gabonik here. A ball way out in front, and he's able to get Bystrick.
Bounced it right up to himself and was able to make the quick throw.
3-2 now, count full to Galarza. 2 out here. Galarza now at first base with the walk, and Frank Fisher will come to the plate. Myers misses to Fisher, ball 1 high. Myers to Blackburn, chasing Galarza back. Mark?
Oh, yeah. I'll be interested to see if anyone hits it further than Gabonik, though.
Yeah. 1-1 the count to Fisher. Runner going, Galarza. Throw gets by shortstop Hanaho. It'll be a stolen base. One and 2 pitch. Misses inside, 2-2.
It's really been impressive. The Catholic League has faced 3 pitchers that aren't really known for their heat. And you have to be patient and wait on their breaking pitches, and they've shown pretty good patience at the plate, Mike, and they've hit a lot of pitchers' mistakes today.
Myers has Fisher swing through it. He'll end the inning here with a strikeout. We'll go to the top of the 9th inning. Chester finds themselves down 3. Steve McSherry steps in for Chester County. They're down 3 runs here in the top of the 9th. 7-4. Warren's still working. After a ball, he gets a strike here, 1-1. So Chester needs runs and needs them quickly. Beaten on the ground and gets a good play here for the Catholic League team, as was able to get the ground ball and retire McSherry unassisted. 1 down here in the 9th.
Mike, the impressive thing about Warren is he's throwing pretty hard, but we've seen him throw harder before, but he pitched 2 1/3 innings yesterday, and you say, well, that's not that much, but you consider the warming up and everything like that. It's not that easy. These guys aren't used to bouncing back 2 days in a row. Most of them are starters. In fact, just about all of them are starters in high school, and they're used to having that rest in between, and a really resilient job by the Catholic League.
Petrolati steps in and looks at 2 balls in a row. And you're right about that warming up situation. These high school players, they warm up as if they're coming out to pitch 7. So it takes a lot of them out, a lot out of them. And Warren here misses 3 in a row. Got the tough out in the 9th inning for any team. That's the first one.
You know, I think Warren was a pitcher last year. St. James had a game where a pit bull attacked one of the outfielders and they had to run. It was one of the things that happen in high school baseball. And as we mentioned, his coach, as we see the walk, his coach, John Mooney's been around something like 35 years, and I don't think even John has seen something like that.
That was not another nickname, was it, of a high school team, the Pit Bulls?
Nah, yeah.
All right, Petrolati at first with the walk. There's 1 down here, and Corey Hanaho will try to keep things alive for the Chester County team. Catholic would love to end this with a ground ball double play.
Yes.
We're 2 outs away from the first team to repeat in Carpenter Cup history as champs. Hanaho looks at a ball inside. One 1-0 pitch from Warren.
Yes.
Misses. Gets the inside corner that time. Call by Tom Beck. Love the job done by the officials all the way through the tournament. They are to be congratulated. They donate their services. Misses inside again. 3 straight times he's come inside. It's 2-1.
Of course, this appears to be Warren's game to save because no one warming up in the Catholic League bullpen.
2-1 pitch coming from Warren. On the ground, let's see if it gets through. Cannot be taken by Galarza. That'll move Petrolati to second. He'll stay there. Hanaho at first with the base hit. It will move to Blackburn. Blackburn in, batting in the 3rd spot, replaced Darren Stroh, the starting first baseman. So I guess we've got the potential tying run at the plate. All he has to do is lift one out of here, and we've got extra inning possibilities. So the infield will, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
You said all he has to do is lift one out of here. Not as easy as it sounds.
Well, there's been 23 home runs in Carpenter Cup history. They'd love to see number 24 here. If you're for Chester County, Warren brings a breaking ball inside for a strike. Then Blackburn trying to keep things alive. Puts it on the ground. Fisher gets it. He'll get it over to Warren for the 2nd out. Runners will move up. Petrolati over to 3rd and Hanaho to 2nd, but a big out number 2 on the ground ball, 3-1.
You know, you see what kind of athlete Warren is. That's 2 plays we've seen where he's had the cover first and he's had the runners beaten by a considerable amount. Really gets over to the bag quickly.
7-4, Catholic on top, looking to become the first repeating champion in Carpenter Cup history. And it's down to Jeff Jakowski here to try to keep Chester County alive. Warren looking for the save. Gets a strike on the outside corner to Jakowski. Scored a lot of runs in this tournament. 10 in their opener, 11 in the next 2 victories, and they've got 7 here. This is low here. Ball held by Bystrom. 1-1 the count.
You know, if this holds on, that'll be the 3rd game Chester County's played where the winning team had 7 runs. So they had 7 in their 2 wins, and now the Catholic League leading.
On the ground, short step, Hollenbach gets it across the good stretch by Fisher. And he gets it, a late call by the first base umpire. But the Catholic League team holds on. They're the winners, 1990 Carpenter Cup Classic, 7-4 the final score.